September 6th, 2019.
This is Nerd Bourbon episode 118. I'm Seth Sturgill.
And I am Todd Sturgill.
Hello, Todd. Fear not, Todd. I will unleash you soon. because I know you're ready and raring to talk about some of the stuff we've got this week. It's going to be a fun show this week. We've got a lot to talk about. Definitely some games to cover. Actually, quite a few games to cover. Some fun news to cover. We had a Nintendo Direct this week, a relatively huge Nintendo Direct. We've got some game release dates that were revealed, some new game reveals. We got a whole lot of shit to cover. Before I get into it, there is a little bit of sad news that I wanted to cover at the top of the show, just to kind of address it because it's important to me, and I don't want to get into the political side of it or the sort of like narrative of it all, but I do just want to say at the top of the show, Alec Halauka, who is one of the creators of the indie game Night of the Woods, as well as he also worked on Aquaria with Derek Yu. He passed away this past week, and there's a bunch to be said about what happened leading up to it and like the circumstances of it all, but again, I don't really want to get into that. I don't want to focus on that. What I want to focus on is him as a person, because Alec kind of, not a lot of people know this, but Alec kind of has something to do with the lifeblood of Nerd Bourbon in some ways. He has a lot to do with the origins of this show, and I just kind of wanted to share that with everybody because there was a lot of just nastiness being said about him, and I'm not going to comment on that stuff one way or another, but I just wanted to share a little bit of positivity about him in the wake of his passing. So Alec, and you know this, Todd, back when in the infancy of Nerd Bourbon, when I first started Nerd Bourbon back in like 2015, like early 2015, it was just kind of an interview show. And like you were just kind of like a recurring special guest, like, and then it was just kind of like, well, why don't I just fucking have you on every week, every time we do it? And we only ended up recording like 3 or 4 episodes in that format, and that was when we sort of realized that we enjoyed podcasting together and stuff like that, and we just wanted to eventually make this its own thing, and we relaunched it obviously, years ago, and that's the show you're listening to now. But in that infant stage, I kind of wanted it to be like a more kind of like laid back, relaxed kind of interview format show. The very first episode we did was actually me sort of interviewing you about Bloodborne.
And you can still find that in places.
It still exists, and it's still out there, and I don't recommend listening to it. But you can.
It's dog shit. It's dog shit quality. It's not that primo shit you guys are used to here.
Yeah. So, and I've put little clips of it in the show in the past, like for episode 100. I put a little clip in there. So, anyway, I was looking for an intro tune, like kind of a chill intro tune for that podcast, kind of like the very first Nerd Bourbon episode. And I reached out. I was following Night in the Woods from Kickstarter, like very much looking forward to that game. And I reached out to Alec because, among many things, like he programmed Night in the Woods, did some writing for it, but he was also the composer of the game. And so I reached out to him on Twitter and asked him, like, hey, like, would it be cool if I used the song Longest Night from the game as an intro tune for my indie podcast? And he had no reason to say yes, but he did. He was totally cool with it, and he was very nice and friendly about it, and was totally cool to just support some random stranger on the internet doing an independent podcast. And so we did. We in those early days, we used Longest Night as the intro for Nerd Bourbon in its infancy. And that's all because of Alec. He, showed me kindness for no reason whatsoever. And I think that sort of speaks to his heart at the end of the day. And I had the opportunity to meet him at PAX in the years following that. I met him and played a demo of Night in the Woods and asked him if he remembered having that kind of like Twitter engagement with me, and he didn't. But he was cool about it though. He was like, "Oh, that's awesome, man. Like it's I hope you stick with it, blah blah blah." and wasn't sticking with it at that time, but I would go on to relaunch the podcast with you, and now we do stick with it. And I don't know, I feel like Alec, when I read this news, I was very saddened by it, because I feel like Alec had a small but crucial part in Nerd Bourbon history. So just wanted to acknowledge that at the top of the show. Have a little bit of a serious note before we get into the fun stuff. We got a lot of fun stuff to cover on the show this week, but I did just want to tip my hat and pay my respects to Alec. And obviously, we wish his family the best, and we appreciate everything that he did. Just a little random act of kindness that spearheaded all of this. So, thanks, Alec. Anyway, with that out of the way, Todd, we've got a lot to cover this week, and I know you've been ready. I know you've been over there pumped up. And I'm going to unleash you, Todd, because let's get right into it. Let's get right into it, Todd. What have you been playing this week?
I can't yet. I can't. I have to talk about dog shit first.
Why is that?
I have to talk about. I'm gonna get the dog shit out the way. I'm saving the best for last.
Ah, okay.
So let me talk about Remnant.
Ooh, Remnant's the dog shit?
Not dog shit, but dog shit compared to the amazing shit.
Okay.
Now here's the deal. I ended up buying Remnant. I think I talked about that last week.
Yes.
Ended up picking it up. It's like $40. I want to see what all the hubbub is. It's a fun game. I'm not going to deny it. I'm having fun with the game. Definitely going to give up the ghost on it now. Maybe I'll go back to it.
This is Remnant from the Ashes, for those that don't know, from Gunfire Games, makers of Darksiders 3.
Yes, and it is a Souls-like in a way, but it is a shooter. It is a third-person shooter with some melee, but you don't want a melee, really.
To your credit, you did put a significant amount of time into it. I mean, it is the game that you spent the most time with this past week.
Yeah, and it's fun. I've gotten a decent little bit of progress in the game. Nothing like crazy. I think the game is it's fun for what it is. It's just I feel like the game is definitely catered to co-op, and that's something that annoys me.
I was going to ask you about that, because I remember you mentioning that you felt like the game was not suitable for single player.
I mean, you can do it solo. You definitely can. It's just I feel like because I've never touched the co-op, but I'm assuming like co-op makes certain things with certain bosses a little easier. With like when it comes to I don't know if it scales the mobs at all, but if it doesn't, come on, that's going to be way easier. And even if it did scale the mobs, it'd still be easier. Just at that point,
you were saying that it was really a matter of just like the crowd control and the amount of ads that every boss seems to have.
Yeah, I was like, shit, man. And it's like you have a finite amount of ammo. I mean, you can have ammo boxes that you can as a consumable, but it's like, what if I don't have that? Well, you want me to melee this fucker to death in a shooter? Fuck you.
I was curious. I guess I'm mostly just curious about like the style of it, because I haven't even seen like a single second of gameplay of it. I have no idea what it's like.
It's pretty jank. I won't lie to you.
Is it kind of like arcadey, or is it cover based? Is it like what's the deal?
You know what it reminds me of? It's like a shit Strange Brigade. That's the way it kind of plays.
Yeah, well, that was kind of what I was wondering. That's kind of what I was
in a
driving
way. Just
at.
imagine Dark Souls meets Strange Brigade.
Yeah.
Now, because it has abilities like that too, though. That's the funny thing, because there is weapon mods and stuff that like give you abilities like Strange Brigade in a way.
Strange Brigade is definitely on the arcadey side, though.
That's an interesting. I don't even know why the hell I pulled that out of my ass. But now that I'm really thinking about it, I'm like, yeah, that is kind of what it is. I mean, the game's fun. I mean, I've killed a couple bosses. I think I like some of the enemy designs. I like some of the world. Like, there's like 4 different worlds, I guess you travel through, and I think I'm like on the third one.
Okay.
I guess. Third or fourth. I might be even on the last one. Fuck if I know. It got to the point where I was just like playing it because I didn't have anything else to play.
Right.
And I've just been waiting.
Patiently waiting.
And that wait's over. But overall, I mean, I may return to it, but honestly, I doubt it.
Yeah.
It might be one of those things where it just disappears into the ether for me.
Well, I look at some of this stuff, and like you said, like I'm looking at some screens from the game now, and some of the enemy designs are cool. Kind of has like maybe a slight Lovecraftian vibe to it.
Yeah. There's shit, dude. Deadass is like one of the bosses. Like it's like this ent. Deadass looks like tree Cthulhu.
Yeah, I think I'm looking at that right now, and yeah, so it seems fairly interesting. But even still, like even in like the box art for the game, it shows 4 players.
Yep.
It doesn't show just a single player.
Yep. Again, it looks like the co-op's pretty like drop in, drop out. You can just join a motherfucker's game, help them out. And that's cool and all, but I don't know. I like when games can balance that
Right.
well, and I just don't think it balances it that well. And this is also somebody that's like gotten older and just like doesn't give a shit about like just getting punished for dumb shit.
Right.
Like that's a topic in itself that we've had on this podcast, like falling out of love with like Souls likes in a way.
Yes.
Still love them, but like as I'm gotten older, shit annoys me a little more.
I think punishing difficulty has to be very carefully balanced.
Yeah.
You have to be punished for the right things. You can't just be punished for stupid design.
Overall, though, I think it's a fun game for what it's worth. If it's like you want like a shooter Souls like, I recommend it.
You got to give it credit where credit's due. The game is $40.
Yeah, I mean, here's the thing. If it was full price, I'd be a little annoyed that I bought it at all.
Right.
But like for $40, I don't feel too bad about it. And honestly, I can see it being on games like PlayStation Plus.
Right.
Honestly. Well, shit. Darksiders 3 is fucking on PlayStation Plus right now.
That's
so
true.
Shit.
That's true. It sort of draws back to that Strange Brigade thing where I sort of felt like I could give that game a little bit more of a pass because it did release it. It wasn't a full $60 game.
Mm-hmm. And we had a lot of fun with that game.
And that game was fucking fun. I platinumed it. As a matter of fact, I think it may have been like at the bottom of my top 10 list that year.
I think it might have been on my list too, though.
Yeah, I mean, it was actually quite fun.
So. But now, it's time.
It's time, Todd. You need to be unleashed.
All right. So, we're recording this dead ass like midnight type of shit.
Pretty much as late as we could possibly be recording it.
So, we were gonna probably record earlier, but it kind of like worked out in a way because you didn't sleep. I read that Monster Hunter World Iceborne was going live for me at 11 p.m.
Right, that's actually quite standard with digital game releases because a lot of times they'll go live at midnight Eastern time.
Yeah, that's exactly why it was going live like at midnight Eastern time. So I'm sitting there in my chair, patiently waiting.
By the way, Borderlands next week will be doing the same thing. So,
why do you think my ass requested off?
So we will be playing that as soon as it launches.
I need to go ahead and buy my digital copy so I can do that.
Anyway,
the digital copy plus, I just got that money. I just got that money taken out today.
Oh, did you? So they're actually preparing your shipment and everything.
Yeah,
your
my
big diamond loot chest.
Yes. You guys will be getting an unboxing.
That'll be fun. I can't wait for that game.
As I caress the curves.
Part its waiting folds.
So yeah, I was sitting there in my chair, and how I knew that it went live is the Velkhana dynamic theme appeared. And I'm gonna tell you right now, love that theme.
Good theme.
Like just not even for it's like a static like flying Velkhana. It's the music, bro.
Now is that like a pre-order theme?
I think it was.
Yeah.
I think it was. And let me tell you right now, the fucking music, like the Iceborne music, is so good to me.
Oh, even base Monster Hunter World had fantastic music.
But dude, this is like next level,
Just
bro. It's like
step.
It's like this. It's the softer. It's a little bit softer. I really love it. It's like this good piano. But I'm like, my dick's getting hard. Like just on the theme. I actually, I was gonna start the video in game, but I was like, fuck this. I'm starting it on the theme. And then I jump into the game. I'm already like giddy, just fucking giddy, just playing this shit. And so basically, by the way, I recorded basically my first hour and a half,
right?
Which should technically be live actually right now.
By the time you're listening to this, it should be live. Yeah,
it should be live, and so I'm basically gonna do maybe give a little bit of cliff notes. Maybe I'll go into some detail here, but then you'll go and watch the video. Check it out. See my hot takes.
That's basically. I was like, this would be really cool if we just got Todd's. You've been so excited for the game. It's like your most anticipated game of the year. It'd be really cool to just get recorded footage of like your first hour or so.
Yeah, so I'm gonna run through like what the first hour and a half is right now. The first hour and a half for me was basically getting to the new area, getting the new hub set up, and I basically did 2 expeditions. And I hunted 2 of the monsters. Okay. So the first monster that you fight in this DLC is the new Piscine Wyvern. Was it Beatotus? That shark motherfucker?
Basically the new version of the
of Gyarados and yes. So I kind of want to shit on some game journalism. Okay. As a meme. Because the meme is they suck at video games.
Typically.
I've read reviews and they're like, oh, I got my ass whooped. Got my ass whooped against the Beatotus. I did the ass whooping.
Well, to be fair, you're a very seasoned Monster Hunter role player.
I'm pretty rusty.
You might be rusty, but you've still put hundreds of hours into Monster Hunter World.
I'm pretty fucking rusty.
Still,
I took some hits. I didn't die. But
you're still surely more. You got to be more experienced than the Polygon reviewer.
Yeah, well, that's the thing. This is not. I've said this. Master rank is. By the way, it's also you're leveling up master rank. It's a separate hunter rank actually.
Ah, interesting. Okay.
So that I'm like right now. By the time I stop playing, I'm master rank 3.
So is your hunter rank? Does hunter rank have a cap?
It's uncapped now, apparently.
Okay, I was
from
curious.
What I read. From what it said, like in one of the tutorials, that it's uncapped now.
Interesting.
So I don't know what the deal is. So master rank is essentially like you're ranking that up, then you'll be able to do more master rank shit. Dude, I'm telling you right now, the sheer amount of fucking quests that I've seen.
Oh, I'm sure. Yeah.
I'm gonna be playing. I've said this. I'm gonna be like playing this fucking game for like ever. And I said this. I'm like, I wasn't working nearly as much as I do now when this game first came out.
Right.
So I'm definitely gonna be fucking playing the shit out, like playing this game for like ever.
Well, you already knew that.
And it's because I was just thinking to myself as I'm playing. I think I even say it in the video. I'm like, I work way too much now. This is like I'm like fuck. Like,
you just gotta quit your job.
I'm about to tell my job to go fuck itself.
Just gotta quit your job. Make Monster Hunter your job.
I gotta say something. Shout out to the motherfuckers trying to call me in for a 6th day. But
on Iceborne Day.
That's
motherfuckers.
But so yeah, you fight Beatotus. I realized some things. They definitely nerfed temporal.
Okay.
The temporal mantle being basically Ultra Instinct from Dragon Ball.
So they nerfed that.
Understandably so. I'm not even mad about the nerf. So I feel like it just dies way quicker. Like it just depletes way quicker, and I think that's fair. It's again, it's complete damage like nullification. So it's like
right.
I mean, other than like little like bitch slaps, it's like they do like a fucking 5-10% of your health, which is nothing. Who gives a shit? Especially with so. Then I kind of like once I get to Celiana. Oh, by the way, I got a shout out to this. I'm gonna be a little rambling here. Is when you get to the Celiana, as it's called.
That's the new hub.
Yes, the new hub.
Okay.
Celiana, as it's called. This motherfucker. I talk shit about it in the video. It's where's my Dragonator? That motherfucker. Where's my Dragonator guy?
Yeah.
The commander.
Right.
Or whatever. This motherfucker, man. He's like giving it. So this is the entry point, and this is the blah blah blah. Or you know what? No, we will call it Celiana and Hoarfrost Reach. I'm like, all right, guy, is coming up with these names.
Pull that out of his ass.
Yeah, I was like,
all right.
And I'll say this: a lot of cutscenes just in for the first hour and a half. A lot of cutscenes, and it seems like this shit is gonna. They're really trying to get the handler in on it. In on this story.
Trying to make her like a big deal.
I'm like, why, guys? Why?
I thought
So
I thought the fans actually enjoyed the handler.
I'm not a fan. I don't like. Here's the thing. I could take her or leave her, but they're going real hard with it
Yeah.
because she's like, it's like it's kind of like this foreshadowing moment. She's like, I've never told you the real reason why I went to the new world, and she gets knocked down at one point. Like it looks like a fucking Velcana like scale pop out of her bag, and I'm like, oh, she got a vendetta against Velcana. Like, but I think
Interesting.
I'm gonna lie to you. It has interested me a little bit. I'm curious to see what I don't play Monster Hunter. I don't play this game for the fucking story.
No.
But I am somewhat intrigued what they're trying to do to move the story along in the game.
Right.
So I went around the hub, found like some really cool new shit. Like one of the last things I did in the video is this thing called the Steamworks.
Okay.
It's weird. It's like randomized. Think of just randomized loot of like kind of like a what am I trying to think of? Slots.
Okay.
So it's like a Steamwork thing. You fuel it up, but you can get just random shit. I got armor spheres, fucking hot drinks. Like I was just getting random shit.
Just out of a slot machine?
Not really. It's like an actual like Steamworks like fucking pipe thing. But that's the way I'm going to describe it. It's like a weird. You do these like it's like quick time events, but not really. It's like you're sitting there doing these sequences of A, triangle, and X, like boom, boom, boom.
Yeah.
Getting more like pressure up, and then it just you keep on getting like more loot and shit. I thought it was cool. I definitely spent like longer than I should have in that video.
What do you have to like feed it like money or something or?
You can feed it anything. I went to the feed the fuel. You can use like any of your orders,
Okay.
like shit like that. And then one thing I got to shout out to this the melder, like the little old lady that like you can meld items.
Yeah, yeah.
They finally made it to where you can legit, if you have a high commendation paper, like high commendation plus, you can just dead ass meld a streamstone.
The streamstone being
the streamstones for the augmentations, like the good ones.
Yeah, yeah.
Like to actually be able to augment your shit. I was like, shout out to you guys. Right there, because those are some rare ass fucking drops.
Just some good quality of life stuff.
There's a lot of shit. Like there's so much shit. Like I see the way that they're gonna upgrade the mantles now. I got like the first quest for that. Haven't done it. It's basically to upgrade the ghillie mantle, which I'm like, eh. And upgrading the ghillie mantle is essential. Like upgrading the mantles in general, even just what I saw from the beta, maybe makes it a little better. But the main thing is it adds a slot, like a gem slot.
That is cool.
That's an interesting thing. You can play around with that. And there's also a new level of gem, level 4.
Okay.
And that seems like it's just a better. They actually just straight gifted me a expert level like gem, and it was like fucking like way better than the standard expert one.
Wow.
Which just raises affinity. I'm like, oh, this is just a lot of shit going on in this game. Like I can honestly sit here forever and talk about it. But let's go. I'm going to talk about my first initial reactions in the hub, and I almost shot my load off too early, as I almost walked in on my waifu too soon. But I had to save her for last.
Oh, is it the grandma mouse Meowster or whatever?
Fucking god, I love her, dude.
What's her name?
Grand Meowster Chef.
Yes.
You don't understand how much I cherish. I cherish her. She must be protected.
At all costs.
Bro, let me tell you right fucking now, they did it. They went for the real good, she's a grandma, bro. Like,
yeah.
We gotta, oh, you're like skinny as a twig or some shit like that. Like, they went there, bro. They went there like full grandma shit. I'm gonna make some shit that sticks to your bones.
That's awesome.
And it makes the most adorable noises. It is like, I was like just sitting there kind of laughing. I'm like, this is beautiful. I love this. I'm telling you right now, if they have her on a shirt, instant fucking buy. I don't give a fuck. That shit's getting bought like the moment I find one. It probably exists, honestly.
It probably does, yeah.
But yeah, she is my favorite new character. I'll tell you that right now. Like, I love everything about her.
I'm looking at some like quotes from her already.
It's good.
Like, here's your thirdsies, dear. Eat up. You're much too thin. We have to put some meat on those bones.
Dude, I was like, they fucking did it. I could not. I loved it so much. So, they don't really explain like how, like why the weapons have like new abilities. You just kind of just jump into that. Which I'm using the charge blade, and I already kind of again I've used basically all the the new weapon abilities when I was playing the beta. So I had a little.
You're already pretty familiar. You're at a little. You're
already pretty familiar with it. So I kind of just jumped in. I was beating ass with the savage axe form with the charge blade, and also using so I did not use the clutch claw as much as I thought I would.
Really?
I'm gonna tell you why. I don't feel safe doing it solo.
Okay.
I feel like clutch claw is gonna be way more of a thing I'd use if I'm doing hunts online.
So you just feel like you leave yourself a little too vulnerable?
So I'll describe it to you. It's the same problem with doing in the elemental discharge with the switch axe. You can get knocked off.
Right.
And like just take damage. So I did use it a couple times in the video. It's more so when they weren't moving. Like I was being smart about it. Like when you should use it.
Right.
And again, the clutch claw is really useful because with the clutch claw, you make weak spots on monsters.
That's nice.
Where you can do more damage. So there's a lot of just quality of life chain. Again, you can use the slinger just with the weapon equipped. Love that. It's just the quality of life stuff in the game is fantastic. I was like, oh, this is the shit I love. So the last like thing I killed in the game was the reindeer motherfucker.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Bambaro or whatever. And so you go into this last expedition, the last expedition that I did, and they don't let me use the canteen.
Oh,
so,
really?
Like, and I'm like, really, guys? And I didn't have any ancient potions on me. I mean, so by the time you get into the fight, right? By the time you get into the fight with him, it's like you're in combat, so you can't go back to a camp. So shout out to me for killing him with low health.
Oh, nice.
I did that whole fight with like basically your starting health.
Nice.
And I didn't give a single shit. That's why I'm just sitting there. I'm like, it's like Monster Hunter World Iceborne's a dance with death. Now here's the deal. Am I in the beginning? Yeah. But I know it's gonna get way harder once I get to like the actual like real shit.
Oh, I'm sure.
Yeah. But the shit that I was like people were talking about was just like the beginning, and I'm like, in the articles, I'm like, what's wrong with you people? You garbage. You're all garbage.
Again, I think you are probably held to a higher standard of Monster Hunter World play.
Maybe. I'll tell you this: I'm definitely rusty with my guard points. That really hurt my soul, but I am definitely rusty with that.
Well, you'll get back into it surely as you play this for the next decade.
I'll be playing. I'm shit, dude. With the amount that I'm working now, I'm gonna be fucking playing this for the rest of my life. And then it's just like, hey, fuck you, motherfucker! You got another game for life coming to next week, Borderlands 3. And I did mention in the video that like, hope you guys enjoy the Gears playthrough that'll be coming up on the channel.
Yes, so we will be doing. Gears 5 went live technically today for Ultimate Game Pass members, which you and I both are, and we are going to be playing the game, and we are planning on getting videos up. So it's probably not going to be live at the time you're listening to this, if you're listening to this like dead ass on release day. But we do plan on getting some up Friday night.
Yeah.
So we'll see. We'll see how that goes. We're going to do a full playthrough of Gears 5 in co-op. There's also going to be something that we haven't had a chance to do yet is a Smash showcase video for Banjo-Kazooie.
I forgot about that.
Yeah, we will talk about that some more in detail later in the show, but we will definitely be doing that at some point because as tradition dictates. But that has not. We just haven't had time to do that yet. We've been pretty busy this week, so.
So one last thing I have to say about like Monster Hunter Iceborne in general is, if you're not a Monster Hunter World fan, this ain't for you. Honestly,
right?
It's really not for you. But if you are already a fan of this game, you've already put like shit. Even if you're just a fan of Monster Hunter in general, you just haven't even touched World. Try World out. Enjoy that. If you do enjoy it, then you might enjoy Iceborne. Iceborne is just more of what you love, and then some.
And World, honestly, you can find World for really cheap now.
Oh, dude,
between
they
$20
give
and
that shit away.
$30, and it's actually, as a matter of fact, I saw it was on Game Pass on Xbox.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you
So-
get that shit for basically for free.
Yeah,
But overall, just like initial, just basically a little under 2 hours into it, I'm just like, fuck. I just feel like I'm playing a new game.
you see
I
your
feel
life
like I'm
laid
with-
before you.
Yeah, well, dude, I feel like I'm just legitimately playing a new game. I'm like, I jumped on. They did the Iceborne pre-update like a couple days ago, where I jumped in and I go into the smithy and I see the good old under development in the equipment. I'm like, oh,
Oh, how long has it been since you've seen that?
and I was just like, oh shit. And then I get into the game today, and it's just like seeing all the new, like up to rarity 10
Yeah.
weapons and armor, and I'm like, fuck.
A whole new world.
I'm ready to shoot myself.
In the best way
Wait.
possible.
Oh yeah, I say very suicidal things. That's something I do, but the amount, I can't really put into words just how excited and giddy like this shit made me. Like that's why I love video games. The Iceborne is like why I love video games.
Yeah.
It's like I should just. I was like, in a way I was like kind of getting like emotional. Like, I was getting a little teary eyed playing it a little bit.
You're like, the spark is back.
Dude, you know what it is? I feel that's kind of what it is, bro. Like,
Yeah.
my fucking brain like just lit up for the first time in like God knows how long, and I'm like, depression, leave me, leave me.
Well, it's also just because like there are very few games that really. I mean, you have these little things like we talked about Remnant earlier, where those are like holdover games.
Mm-hmm.
But now you've got your really big. These are
Yep.
the games that you've really been looking forward to, and we're in it now, dude. We're coming into the fall.
Yeah,
it's
here.
here.
We're into the real shit now. Where like I
Mm-hmm.
have like the games. Again, I'm gonna be playing Iceborne for like fucking the foreseeable future, and there'll be games in the between that, like with like Star Wars. Fucking, I'm gonna be playing Modern
Mm-hmm.
Warfare and other shit. Borderlands 3.
Mm-hmm.
It's gonna, God, it's gonna be so. The main balancing act is basically gonna be between Borderlands 3 and Iceborne,
Right.
and then because it's like Borderlands, the fact that they're both games for life is what annoys me coming out.
Right.
Because Borderlands 3 is a pretty big deal for me because that's a lot of end game shit, a lot of just replayability. Same with Iceborne, a lot of replayability. That's why I'm gonna be playing those games for the foreseeable future, and then I'll have like those games where I might only do like one playthrough.
Well, and then yeah, you got to think too that like both Borderlands and Monster Hunter are games that are really well supported
Yep.
post launch. So
Yeah, we're gonna be getting new event quests in Iceborne, new DLCs for Borderlands 3. God, I'm just sitting there, just like fuck,
it's gonna be intense,
but in a good way.
In a good way.
Hope you guys enjoyed me rambling on Iceborne.
No, I mean, look, I'm happy that you're happy.
I won't lie to you. I could keep on going.
I'm looking forward to hearing about this game over the course of the next several years.
Oh yes. Let me reintroduce a recurring segment.
Yeah,
This has been Monster Hunter World Talk. This has been Monster Hunter Talk, and it's back, baby. It calmed down for a while there, but it's fucking back.
So I feel like at this point it does need to just become a segment.
It is a segment at this point because it essentially was a segment. It's like whenever so what have you been playing?
Monster Hunter World.
Playing Monster Hunter. Playing it was so good. Playing checking out the new events. New Nostra, Teostra, and all that. It was real cool.
Well,
Now you get to see me talk about the new shit. Every week for the rest of your life.
welcome to hell. What else has been going on in your world?
Other than my job bending me over. I'm trying to think what else I've been up to, game wise. It's because I'm telling you, it's like,
You've basically just been waiting for this day.
yeah, my week has been a blur of just again occasionally playing Remnant. I've been playing Rainbow. I've been playing Rainbow Six Siege.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
Yeah, short-term memory loss, depression does.
You sort of
Now,
wanted to check that out a little bit more.
Yeah, so I ended up wanting to play some Rainbow Six Siege mainly because Modern Warfare, the new Call of Duty, kind of plays in a weird way, really similar to Rainbow. Kind of like a slower pace, a little like the weapons feel heavy. Everything's a little more deliberate in a way. And I was thinking to myself, I'd rather play Rainbow Six Siege than Call of Duty 4 or even Black Ops, because I feel like it captures what it's gonna scratch the itch that Modern Warfare gave me.
Right.
And it's been fun. Been having a lot of fun with it. Been playing with a buddy from work. Sometimes I do well. Sometimes I do garbage. I make it my mission to try to smack somebody in the face with a sledgehammer. With my boy, Sledge.
Leaving nothing to the imagination with that name.
I know. He's a real fun guy. I don't know, the game's fun. I honestly feel like you probably would like it.
I'm sure I would.
So I'll say this: the newcomer mode is so casual, and I love it.
Is it?
Until they kick me out in 10 levels.
And
I'm forced to actually play standard, actual casual, because I ain't playing ranked. I make it my mission to never play ranked in any game. Because ranked is where it's all dog shit.
Yeah, rank is where the true toxicity lies.
It's like everything that I hate about a video game is magnified and ranked.
Yeah. I imagine with a tactical game
Overwatch
like that.
Overwatch is like the real struggle. Because I've played ranked. I think you have too.
I have, yeah.
And it's just like, I'm like, fuck this. It's like, this is just, everything's magnified. But yeah, I don't know, Rainbow Six Siege is another one of those games that Ubisoft did that just fucking support the shit out of.
I mean, that game's probably going into its third or fourth year.
Year 4, bro.
Yeah.
It's year 4. There's the year 4 pass for all these new characters they've been adding. It's fucking hilarious to see the new characters versus the start the year 1 shit.
Yeah.
How much crazier they've gotten. It's like, motherfuckers got a one of them's got I think one of the new ones got a grappling hook.
Oh, nice.
What? I mean, that's not like you're not going around grappling shit, but it's basically you can rappel faster.
Okay. Well, that's cool. It's cool that they keep supporting that stuff. Those games like that, For Honor,
Yeah, I've been having a lot of fun, and I'm going to be continuing having a lot of fun now.
I've got a couple of games I want to cover before we move into the news. I've been playing, mainly it's been Astral Chain. But before I get into that, I want to talk about a little game that I've only put a couple of hours into. A game I'm actually playing with my wife cooperatively. It's called Knights and Bikes.
I saw you guys playing that, actually. I didn't know what the fuck the deal was.
Yeah, so it's a co-op game, really, at its heart. You can play it single player, but I think if you play it single player, you dead ass just can go between the two characters. Choose between the two and swap back and forth. So the game at its heart is meant for co-op. So it is kind of cool to play it couch co-op. So this game is made by an indie developer called Foam Sword, and it's made up of members of former Media Molecule staff. One of them was the lead designer of Tearaway, and they both worked on Little Big Planet and stuff like that. And you can definitely see that kind of inspiration in its bones, just in its visual style alone. It looks like a Media Molecule game, and it was published by Double Fine. So it's got this kind of humorous edge. The game's pretty funny, and it has a unique style to it. Again, we've only played for maybe a couple of hours. The moons haven't really aligned for us to play too much more of it, but it's a fun kind of adventure game that has some light combat elements that we've seen so far. The game actually has pretty kind of a slow opening. We haven't really gotten into a lot of open combat yet, but I know that stuff exists in the game. But it kind of has just kind of a lighthearted Goonies kind of vibe to it. I think the game actually takes place in the 80s, and it just kind of has it takes place on this British island, this British island tourism, and it kind of has something to say about how these places kind of maintain their economy when the tourists leave, and it's kind of now the kind of rainy, wintry season, so all the tourists are gone, and it's like, what do we do now, kind of thing. And it's interesting, but I can't really speak authoritatively on it because we just haven't put that much time into it. But it's been fun. It's nice to have a co-op game to play with her, and we've been enjoying it thus far. But the game that I've been spending the bulk of my time with this week is Astral Chain, which is the new Platinum Games game for Nintendo Switch exclusively. Actually, it's been doing pretty well. I think it actually debuted at number 1 in the UK sales, so that's pretty exciting. And as a matter of fact, I think it's already like one of the best launches for any Platinum Games title. So that's cool.
I mean, it's kind of what we wanted for that game, right?
It is, because I mean it's the kind of thing where it's like Platinum has said that they have planned this out as a trilogy, so hopefully this game continues to do well and they continue to grow on it, because I really do contend that this is maybe their best game yet. In terms of all of the Platinum games that I've played, this sort of feels like the ultimate Platinum Games game. Like, they've really pulled a lot of shit from like all of their games. Like, this game feels like a mishmash of just everything they've done in the past. So, like, it's got the RPG kind of like elements and side questy and kind of more open elements of like a Nier game. It's got the combat of like a Bayonetta. It's got the even like the little stuff, like the way that you can like the mechanic of like being able to do controlled slashing like you can do in Metal Gear Rising. That's in there. Like, there are things that remind me of their Transformers game or their Legend of Korra game. It feels like they've taken all of the stuff from Platinum's past and put it into this game. And I think it's got a pretty interesting story. Like, I'm actually caring way more about the story than I thought I would. The game is long. Like, it's actually, I'm not even finished with it yet, and I've already put in like 17 hours into it. So it's got a pretty decent length to it, and I know the end game is going to be even more crazy, because they give you incentive to go back and replay older missions. But let me not get too far ahead of myself. If you're not familiar with Astral Chain, the sort of core conceit of the game is that you are a police officer for this subsect called Neuron, and Neuron is sort of, it takes place kind of in the future, and Neuron is sort of like this futuristic task force that is dealing with the sort of monstrous otherworldly force known as the Chimeras. And they do this with the help of legions, basically. And legions are sort of like chained chimeras that they have the ability to command. That they bind to their legatus console, and they're able to command them from that. So that's sort of the core conceit. You end up getting, I think, 5 or 6 throughout the course of the game of the different legions, and they all serve different functions. You can swap between them on the fly, both in and out of combat. You use them for like certain puzzles and like environmental kind of like scenarios. Like, for example, there may be areas that you can't access unless you're able to use the arm legion to like move this dumpster that's in the way. Or you may not be able to get to this side quest unless you use the Arrow Legion to shoot down this ladder or whatever. And there's like hidden areas that you can only find if you use the Beast Legion to sniff them out. So there's interesting stuff like that. The areas that you go to, this is a big question that I think a lot of people had, including you. One of the things you asked me was, is the game open world? And it isn't. That's, I think, a question that a lot of people have had about the game, because we didn't really see that much leading up to the game's launch. The game is not open world. However, like, it is kind of mission based. Like, the game definitely has like a flow. Like, the game definitely has a structure. It's very much, you go into these missions, they're long, there's a lot to do within these missions. The areas that you're going to are big and open. And I mean, it's not uncommon for you to spend 2 hours inside of a single mission if you're like exploring and doing everything. That's not uncommon at all. Basically, the formula is you go and you do these missions, you explore the area and everything, then you go back to the hub and you level your stuff up, and you talk to the NPCs and you train and stuff like that, and you kind of go into the next mission. It's definitely a formula. There's definitely a gameplay loop to this game. But what surprised me the most about it is that it is not what I thought it would be. Like, I thought this game was going to be a lot more Bayonetta and a lot less Nier, I guess. When in reality, the game is not really like... I mean, it has action for sure. Like, it has great combat. But it is not some, like, balls-to-the-wall constant... It's not like a character... It's not like a Devil May Cry or a Bayonetta. It is definitely, like... There are entire missions where you'll go almost the entire mission without fighting anything. Like, you do a lot of detective work in the game. And you do a lot of, like, slow-paced kind of, like, character stuff in the game. And there's a lot of exploration to be done. And so I feel like if you're coming into this game expecting, like, a bombastic Platinum Games, like, balls-to-the-wall character action game, I think you'll probably be a little bit disappointed, even though I think the combat actually is pretty deep and is a lot of fun. There's a really cool mechanic... And again, this goes back to what I was saying earlier, where it pulls from previous Platinum games, where, like, if you pull off a perfect dodge, sort of like how it is in Bayonetta, time slows down for a split second, and you're able to pull off some extra moves.
I think I've seen that in, like, gameplay.
Yeah. There's also the idea of, like, synchronization attacks, where you'll see your Legatus blink for a second, depending on your action. And
what's a Legatus?
Yeah, the Legatus is the console on your back that your Legion comes from.
Oh.
And you'll see it as you're doing these combos. You'll see it, like, glow every now and then, and it's very obvious. Like, the game kind of, like, for a frame, like, stops, and it kind of like ting, and then, like, you have that split second to hit the left trigger and pull off a synchronized attack with your Legion, which is cool.
That's cool. That's cool as fuck, actually.
It's really cool. And so, like, and you kind of get into this flow where you kind of, like, learn how to make the setups for those synchronized attacks, where it's like, I'll come in with my big heavy sword and I'll get 4 moves, and then at the end of that 4-hit combo, I know that it's going to be a sync attack, so I'm ready for that. And then there's certain sync attacks where another sync attack becomes available in the middle of it. So, I mean, it gets to the point where you're just fucking wailing on fools. And you have, like... Outside of, like, the legions, you also have combat options for yourself. So you have a standard baton, which is, like, for, like, kind of up close quick attacks. You've got a heavy kind of, like, claymore kind of thing, like this big ass sword, which is slower, but it does a lot more damage and it breaks armor. And then you have a pistol for ranged attacks. So combat sort of becomes this dance of, like, what weapon am I going to use? What Legion am I going to use?
You had me at Claymore.
Yeah. So, but there are certain enemies where you definitely don't want to use the Claymore because they're just too fast. You know?
Don't say that. Don't say that.
So you're constantly switching up, like, the best weapon for the job, you know?
When in doubt, Claymore.
And, like, to that end, there are actually certain legions that are better for certain situations. So there are certain legions that will go invisible, and the Beast Legion is the only one that can actually attack it, like, before it reveals itself again. Or there'll be these kind of, like, floating enemies that, like, create a shield, and the Arrow Legion is the only one that can attack it. You know, or there'll be these enemies that create a shield, but you can see that they have, like, kind of a line of energy between them and the chimera that they're shielding, and you can use the Sword Legion to sever that chain. So,
Astral Chain.
So it's cool. Combat is actually, like, really deep and interesting. There's, like, dead ass. Every Legion has, like, a skill tree.
Oh God.
Yes, and every Legion has, like, 2 skills that you can put into skill slots.
Oh God.
All of your weapons are upgradable.
Oh God.
There's pretty deep character customization.
Oh no! I just keep on going.
So, in other words, this game is, like, surprisingly deep.
See, I'm gonna be honest. I wanted to buy this game, but I'm kind of happy I didn't because I already have big games.
Yeah, the game is, like, way bigger than I thought. Honestly, if I really wanted to, and I don't think I'm really going to have time to, like, really sink my teeth in. I think I'm pretty much just going to play through the story and put it away. But like, ostensibly, if you really wanted to 100% this game, I could see it taking anywhere between 50 and 60 hours. Because you're going to have to go back and replay all of the previous missions. You're going to have to play on higher difficulties. You're going to have to clear out challenges. Like, there's a lot to do in the game. So, it's definitely worth the price tag. And also, a lot of people have said that this is maybe the best looking Switch game, and I think I probably agree with that. Just in terms of balancing the scale of some of these Chimera enemies and like the size of some of these levels. Like, some of these levels really are big and detailed.
How do the backdrops look? The backdrops look good?
The backdrops look great. Like, I think the game has a really cool art style where it's sort of, it's not quite cell shaded, but like it looks anime, right? And in fact, I don't know his name, but there's a famous manga artist is the lead art director on this game. So the game has definitely an anime art style, but they sort of couple that with like a really nice kind of not quite cell shady look. And the game just looks really sharp, like really crisp, really good. And the soundtrack is great. Like, it's a really nice package. Like, it is just I don't have any huge complaints about it other than kind of little nitpicks. So I've talked about this recently with Days Gone, and it returns here in Astral Chain. Why the fuck doesn't every game have mid-mission saving? Like, it really bothers me. And like, I understand, like, people are like, oh, well, you can just put it in rest mode or you can just suspend it. And I'm like, yeah, I can, and I'm having to, but that annoys me. I don't want to do that. I'll tell you why. So, like, you know, Banjo came out for Smash this week. And again, we'll get into that later in the show. But, like, I'm sitting there in the middle of a mission with Astral Chain. Meanwhile, Banjo's out for Smash, and you know how excited I've been for that. I want to play that, but I can't quit out Astral Chain because then I'll lose all my mission progress. So
it's a little dumb. So
I had to, like, force myself basically to finish this mission in Astral Chain so that I could go play Banjo. So that bummed me out. Otherwise, I mean, like, there are little things where, like, sometimes you'll move into an area kind of accidentally. Like, you'll kind of accidentally go where the game wants you to go. You know what I mean? When you wanted to explore some more, but now the game has kind of, like, gated you off from going back.
Reminds me of when I played Doom.
Yeah, you know, like, that kind of stuff is a little annoying, where it's like, oh man, like, I wanted to explore more of that back there, but I've accidentally gone too far in the right direction. So, but otherwise, I don't really have any major complaints. The game controls well. I really think that this is probably, out of all the Platinum games that I've played, I think this is right up there with the best. I mean, I've played both Bayonetta games and loved them. I think Astral Chain is better than both Bayonetta games, personally. Yeah, I like the world. I like the story more than I expected to. It's just good. The English dub is good, despite your elitist take on English dubs.
Trash.
I'm really impressed. This is one of the better English dubs that I've seen.
Trash.
I think the game has a really solid English dub, and so the protagonist, your player character, does not speak, but you choose between playing a male or a female. Essentially, it's two twins. You're basically playing either as a male or a female twin, and your brother/sister plays a role in the story, and they are voiced from that point on. So that's Astral Chain. I don't really want to belabor it too much longer because we have more to cover in the show. But it's really good. It's definitely one of those, like, really good Switch exclusives, and I think it's going to be kind of a sleeper. If I think that the core fan base, the core audience, probably checked it out and really enjoyed it, and it's going to be one of those things that, like, 3 years from now, people are going to be like, man, Astral Chain was good. Hopefully we get sequels. So, I don't know, that's pretty much all I have to say about it, Todd. That's what I've been up to this week. Are you ready to dive into some news?
No.
All right. Well, fuck it. Let's go home. I'm just kidding. Let's get into some news, Todd. I've got a few things to cover here in terms of some announcements. Obviously, the biggest news of the week was the Nintendo Direct. which we will end the show with. We will dissect that thing because there's a lot to cover there. But first, let's talk about some game release dates, shall we? I've got a lot of those. So, Todd, we have floated through 2019 aimlessly, just hopelessly wondering when the game of the year might emerge. And you might think to yourself, oh, Iceborne might be my game of the year, Borderlands, Jedi Fallen Order, Call of Duty, all these great games, but no. We finally know when 2019's game of the year is coming out. On September 20th, Untitled Goose Game by indie developer House is launching on Nintendo Switch and PC.
The fuck are you talking about?
Untitled Goose Game. If you don't know what Untitled Goose Game is, do yourself a favor and look it up. I've been looking forward to this game for years, and it's going to be immaculate. It is a game, I guess you could call it sort of a puzzle adventure game, where you play as a horrible goose, fucking with people's shit. And it's great. If you don't know what it is, I highly recommend you look it up.
I'm watching the Switch trailer right now.
It's coming September 20th to Switch and Epic Games Store. So yeah, Untitled Goose Game, finally. And I love, by the way, I love that they still call it Untitled Goose Game. I've been hoping that that's what they were going to do. Because, like, it didn't have a title for such a long time, and then people kept asking, what's its title? And then they were like, Untitled Goose Game.
What is this? Is this Goose Simulator?
Oh, dude, it's more than that. I can't wait.
Just reminds me of Goat Simulator.
I think it's a little more
way.
polished than Goat Simulator.
Well, yeah, I'll say that, but I get the vibes.
I think Goat Simulator also has, like, less structure than Untitled Goose Game does, because, like, Untitled Goose Game essentially is going to give you, like, objectives, and you just have to figure it out.
I mean, Goat Simulator gave objectives.
Yeah, but Goat Simulator, I guess, was a little more, like, clear on how you do it. Like, Goat Simulator was very much like, go and do this thing. Like, Untitled Goose Game is like, make sure the farmer puts on his sun hat. And there are, like, a bunch of ways to do that. Where you can, like, go into his garden and steal his radio and fucking use his rake to knock over his sun hat and, like, get him to pick it up and put it on. There's, like, it's gonna be dumb, and I can't wait. We were previously reported on a vague October date for Yooka-Laylee and the Impossible Lair, but we now have a firm release date that was given by Playtonic. It is coming October 8th. So look forward to that. I'm actually quite excited for that one. Todd, it's time to party like it's 2008. The 11-year-old indie smash hit Castle Crashers is coming to Switch on September 17th. That's unbelievable, by the way. Castle Crashers is 11 years old.
Shh, no, it's not.
11 years old.
Shh, no, it's not.
Absolutely fucking incredible.
Shh.
So, September 17th for Switch. The game is also coming to PS4, although it is currently in the submission process.
I was like fucking like 14 when I was playing that shit.
Bro.
Fuck.
2008 it came out.
Fuck.
Yeah. Yeah. So, the Behemoth did say, again, the game is going to come to PS4, currently in the submission process, so they did not give an exact release date, but I imagine it's not going to be too far behind. For those that don't know, Castle Crashers Remastered boasts 60 FPS gameplay. The original was only 30 FPS. The Switch is going to have HD Rumble functionality, and the remastered version has got texture resolution sizes that are 5 times larger than the original game. Now, Castle Crashers Remastered has actually been available on Xbox One since 2015, but as the Behemoth, the developer, notes on their blog post, this is the first game they've actually developed for Nintendo hardware since Alien Hominid for the GameCube in 2004. And similarly, they haven't made a game for Sony hardware since porting Castle Crashers to PS3 back in 2010. So they've been kind of a Xbox-centric developer for a long time. And this is kind of the first time they've kind of had to work on ports for other hardware. So, can't wait. I am personally thinking I'm going to be playing this on Switch. Gotta get that HD Rumble. The only kind of extras that the PS4 version has is the light bar lights up. to correspond to whoever you're playing as. And I'm like, all right, whatever. I'm always down to play Castle Crashers. Like, Castle Crashers is just a good game. Like, that is the Behemoth's best game by far, I think. So, this is interesting. EA officially announced Plants vs. Zombies Battle for Neighborville this week. This is weird. This was actually leaked like a week or two ago, but this is a follow-up to their third-person shooter series, Garden Warfare. Are you familiar with that?
What is it? No, I'm not actually.
Yeah, so Plants vs. Zombies essentially did this Garden Warfare, like, kind of interesting class-based third-person shooter series.
Oh, never mind. That game. Okay.
Yeah, I actually played the first one and had fun with it. Battle for Neighborville, though, looks like it has, like, more meat on its bones, so in addition to the traditional kind of, like, PvP third-person shooter experience, Battle for Neighborville has kind of, like, co-op options. It has explorable free roam areas, interactive social hubs, and more. And this is weird. The way they handled this is weird because there is a Founders Edition right now for $29.99, and if you buy it, you can start playing it now on PC, Xbox One, and PS4, and, quote, enjoy 6 weeks of pre-launch content.
6 weeks?
Because the game officially launches on October 18th. So they basically are launching this game like 2 months ahead of its official launch if you pay for the Founders Edition.
How much is the Founders Edition?
$30.
That's not bad.
It really isn't, but it's like, why didn't you just call that the proper release?
Because they want money.
It's just so weird. Such a weird, like, tact. I don't know. I don't like it.
You don't understand big business.
I guess not. Yakuza 7 was revealed this week. It brings with it some major changes for the Yakuza series. Of course, this is the first proper game in the series not to feature longtime series protagonist Kazuma Kiryu, and instead focuses on new protagonist Ichiban Kasuga. The setting has also changed from Tokyo to Yokohama, but perhaps the most drastic change of all lies in its gameplay.
Mm-hmm.
Because Yakuza 7 will be taking a turn-based RPG approach to combat instead of the brutal street brawling the series is known for.
Can I just say I love like reading the article about that?
Yeah?
Like, it was solid. Because the buddy's like, well, if you guys don't like it, we'll just go back.
They do kind of take Yakuza as kind of a experimental series like that.
Well, that's the thing. It's like I respect them wanting to, like, shake some shit up a little bit.
Yeah, and I mean, this is a new protagonist. It seems like it's going to really be a new turn for the Yakuza games. And to be honest, like, I played Yakuza 0 for quite a bit. And, I kind of fell off of it, but I kind of saw the core appeal. And for me, anyway, the combat was not what I came to it for. It was the representation of Japan. It was the sort of tourism aspect of it. That was what really attracted me to Yakuza. So the fact that we're out of Tokyo now, we're kind of in Yokohama, I think that's going to be a really nice change of pace for Yakuza fans who are kind of sick of the kind of like, I think they have the sort of fictional Kamurocho Tokyo in the Yakuza series. I think people are kind of sick of that. Let's move on to Yokohama and kind of get a change of scenery. I think that's going to do a lot of good for the series. And honestly, I think it's kind of cool, like a turn-based RPG kind of combat system for Yakuza. I think that's really interesting.
Yeah, interesting is a word for it.
But it definitely, like, the Yakuza games of old were definitely kind of like, definitely almost Arkham-style brawlers. So this is definitely a departure for sure. So I guess we'll see how fans react. We don't know when it's coming. I assume next year. One bit of distressing news. This upset me. I'm sure you saw this. The star of E3 2019 is leaving.
One of them.
Her game.
Yeah, it just seemed weird, the whole situation. We don't really know any details about it, right?
We don't. So, for those that are not in the know, so Ikumi Nakamura, who is the creative director, art director, and senior concept artist at Tango Gameworks, who, notably, she took the stage last E3 to reveal her game Ghostwire Tokyo that she was the creative director of.
Spooky.
Spooky. And she was adorable, and everybody loves her, and blah, blah, blah. So she revealed this week that she is leaving the studio. She tweeted, quote, "After 9 years as creative director and art director at Tango and ZeniMax, I felt here is one of ends of the journey." So this is, broken English, obviously. This is not her first language.
What?
Yeah. She says, "I learned from the talented people I've worked with and I respect. Contact me if anybody wants to work with me." And she leaves her LinkedIn link there. It's so weird, man, because this is not... Like, people are kind of looking at this and sweeping it under the rug a little bit. Let's make something, like, perfectly clear. For a creative director to up and leave a project like this after 9 years...
And that's... Yeah.
Something happened.
Something happened, or it's like, my thing is, like, is the game kind of done? Like, what's the deal?
I don't imagine it is. I mean, like, I can't imagine that the game... We weren't even really given a proper release date for the game, so...
Yeah.
And we didn't see any gameplay for the game whatsoever. So...
So now I'm like, shit, are we even gonna get this game now?
I think we still will. As a matter of fact, I've got a quote here from Bethesda. They gave a statement about it. They said, quote, "We can confirm that Nakamura-san has decided to leave Tango, and we wish her the best of luck in whatever is next for her. Tango continues to be led by the legendary Shinji Mikami and his talented team in the development of Ghostwire Tokyo. We look forward to sharing more on what they're creating in the coming months." So... We don't really know anything about Ghostwire Tokyo. It's weird that she left the studio kind of right after sort of coming into the spotlight and hitting her stride, and it seemed like...
I wonder if that's why it is. Like, maybe she thinks she can get, like, better job. I don't know.
Maybe. I mean, maybe that has something to do with it. And you know what? You might be onto something there, because I kind of was picking up the puzzle pieces on Twitter a little bit, where... And I don't want to be accusatory or anything like that, but you can sort of read between the lines if you follow her on Twitter, which I have ever since last E3. She's just adorable. Little cringy, but still adorable.
Sometimes cringe is adorable. It's fine.
But she sort of tweeted, somebody, one of her fans kind of jokingly tagged Shuhei Yoshida, the head of Sony Worldwide Studios, kind of saying like, "Oh, you should hire her, blah, blah, blah." And she tweeted something to the effect, I don't want to misquote her, but she tweeted something to the effect of like, maybe if I worked at Sony, they would give me a going away celebration, which sort of maybe implies that Bethesda didn't. Like, maybe it sort of implies that working conditions were not good for her there.
Maybe.
I don't know.
I mean, I definitely saw a couple things about like Sony Worldwide Studios like should pick her up and shit. I definitely saw that.
It'll be interesting to see where she goes, because I mean, she has a lot of pedigree for sure.
Yeah,
and she's become something of a public figure ever since last E3. So
yeah, she's a living meme. So
we have not seen
memes have power.
Memes do have power.
Ted Cruz memes, goddammit.
So we have certainly not seen the last of her. We will follow her. We will follow her career with great interest. I wonder if you've seen this. So this kind of flew under the radar over the past day or two. Nintendo is teasing a mysterious new project coming to the Nintendo Switch. It appears to involve this weird sort of circular, bendable resistance device that has housing for one of your Joy-Cons, and also coupled with a leg band that wraps around your leg and houses your other Joy-Con. Did you see this at all?
Interesting. Doing some motion gaming?
Yeah, so I haven't really seen a lot of people reporting on this yet. They had this kind of like strange trailer where we see people from all over the world using these devices to like perform various actions, such as like what appears to be archery, like driving, like using it as a steering wheel, hula hooping, yoga, and more. We didn't see any gameplay for it. The full product is going to be revealed on September 12th. So next week on the show, we will certainly update everybody. But this is fucking weird. Like, this is weird. Like, this looks even weirder than even, like, Labo. Like, Nintendo seems to be just, like, pumping out just, like, these random experiments for Switch, and I wonder what this could possibly be. My gut sort of tells me that this is going to be a follow-up to Wii Fit. The reason why I think that is because, A, Wii Fit was a massive success, and Nintendo definitely has sort of a health focus. I mean, Wii Fit Trainer, for example, is in Smash, and there's no touchstone for that character anymore.
Wii Fit Trainer is my main.
So, and obviously they can't call it Wii Fit. It's not on the Wii. But I wonder if this is...
Switch Fit.
Yeah, right.
Switch your life.
Switch your life around. Switch your fat ass to a skinny ass. So I wonder if this is going to be sort of a Wii Fit follow-up in whatever form that would take. And it's really interesting, if nothing else. I mean, look, having that like weird circular device laying around is a lot less cumbersome than having like a balance, one of those stupid like Wii Fit balance boards hanging out on your floor. So it'll take up less house real estate. I don't know. We'll have to see. I'm definitely intrigued. Maybe it'll get me to buy it. Lose some of these...
You sad sack of shit.
Lose some of this belly.
You don't need to lose that belly. That belly's perfect.
That's true. It's a Buddha belly.
Just the way it is.
Todd.
I kneel before I'm...
Todd, let's get into the Nintendo Direct to end the show.
I don't want to.
I'm forcing you down this journey. This was a massive Direct, dude.
Yeah, it was pretty good.
40 minutes long. I mean, this was huge. Came with pretty major news.
I was disappointed with Pokemon.
Yeah, we'll definitely get into that. I mean, you got to give them credit, though, because Nintendo did just kind of casually drop like an E3 caliber Direct on a random Wednesday.
Yeah, they definitely did. It wasn't a random Wednesday. It was your fucking birthday.
That is true. It was my birthday when they dropped that. So that was a nice little birthday present. It was funny because they announced it a couple days in advance. I was like, hey, Nintendo got me a birthday present.
Oh, they did more than that, sweet boy.
They did, and we will certainly get into that. Let's go over some of the highlights here. Let's dissect this Direct bit by bit. I'm not going to cover literally everything.
Do the cliff notes. Get the good shit.
I'm going to get the good shit, but I got to say, as I was going through my notes for the Direct, most of what they've shown was the good shit. There's very little fat I found. Very little things that I didn't care about in this Direct. So, the Direct cold opened with a trailer for the previously leaked Nintendo Switch port of Overwatch. We reported on this last week, so this was a known quantity. The game is releasing on October 15th and will feature, quote, new ways to play, including gyro controls. So, that's cool. Overwatch, as always, has long been a perfect fit for the Switch, I think. There's no word yet on any special Nintendo-themed skins. So, you don't have me yet. But it also has not been reported on yet if there is going to be any sort of Battle.net parody, if I'm going to be able to carry over my stuff from console or not. So, jury's out, Todd. But Overwatch is going to be on Switch. I think they actually have said that the main concession that they've made with Overwatch on Switch is actually the frame rate. It's not really the graphical fidelity of the game. The resolution is a little bit lower, I believe, but mostly I think the frame rate has taken a little bit of a hit. I think it's now locked at 30. So
it's fine.
But even watching the trailer, I was like, this doesn't look very much worse at all than the PS4 copy I have. The game is very much here, very much intact. So that's cool. That's going to be cool for Switch fans. I think you've already kind of decided that you're not going to double dip unless you get your skins.
I'm a skin fiend, my boy. My boy.
So this was interesting. The next game from Hi-Rez Studios was revealed. It's called Rogue Company. And it looks to be an interesting team-based mercenary shooter with lots of options for customization. Mm-hmm. So we don't really know much about it. You and I, we are Hi-Rez fans here on the show. Mm-hmm. We have sung their praises many times as fans of Paladins and Realm Royale, and you like Smite.
I wouldn't say I like it, but it's probably the best MOBA.
You like it. You don't play it, but you like it. We respect high res here on the show. How's that?
All right.
So, not much is known about the game. We got a kind of like little bit of a trailer. I will say, the gameplay they showed, like I even commented to you, I was like, this game looks like really good for a Switch game. Like graphically, it looked really good. They kind of have like a vague 2020 release date. I did do a little bit of digging, a little bit of research, and I did learn that Hi-Rez did confirm that the game will also launch on PC, Xbox One, and PS4. Okay. And when it launches, it will have full cross-platform play support.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah. So I did learn that upon doing a little bit of digging. There's a lot of like weirdness when it comes to Nintendo Directs because they will announce a game or whatever, and it will look like it's like a Switch exclusive or something. Like they won't mention that it's also coming to other consoles.
That's the point.
Yeah, so like for a lot of these, I had to actually go in and confirm that they were not also coming to other consoles. So yeah, this game Rogue Company, when it comes out next year, will be launching on basically everything. So it looked cool. I don't know. What did you think of the trailer?
I mean, I was interested. That's kind of my thing. I was like, I mean, I want to see more of like how like the game's gonna like what. I know the type of game it is, but I want to see like what's going on with
it. It's interesting to me that Hi-Rez has taken kind of a like more realistic look.
Yeah, because most of the time they go for like the cell shaded kind of cartoony.
Yeah, Hi-Rez has always been kind of like artsy, kind of cartoony style, and this game is not that. This game definitely looks like kind of a tactical military-esque shooter. Probably has a little bit of an arcadey element to it, but it definitely, like, the visuals definitely lean towards the realistic with this one. So, interesting. We'll definitely keep an eye on that. We like Hi-Rez. Return from the Obra Dinn, or Return of the Obra Dinn, rather, from developer Lucas Pope, who we know from Papers, Please, is making its way to Switch this fall. He has not given a hard release date, though it should be noted that the game is also coming to Xbox One and PS4. It is not a Switch exclusive. I am very interested in Return of the Obra Dinn. I think even you were interested in watching that trailer.
Yeah, it grabbed my attention. Just the way obviously the main thing that grabbed me was like I love the way the game looks in a way. I love that like just kind of like black and white.
The visual, it's weird. It's not even really black and white. It looks like it looks like it's got the color palette of like the original Game Boy, and it has this really interesting visual style, and it's kind of like this exploration mystery kind of game. I'm really into it. I can't wait to play this. I probably won't play it on Switch. I mean, I might. We'll see. It kind of depends on, for me, what it boils down to is I look at the trophy list on PS4. And if the trophy list isn't good, then fuck it, I'll play it on Switch. If the trophy list is good, I'll play it on PS4. Either way, I'm going to play it. I hear it was definitely a highlight last year. Super Kirby Clash was revealed. It is a free-to-start 4-player cooperative brawler. This is taking cues from Team Kirby Clash, which was a sub-game in Kirby Planet Robobot back on 3DS. But the Switch version features over 100 quests that will involve taking down various enemies and bosses with your friends. And it was made available immediately after the Direct. To be honest with you, I downloaded it. I played it for like 10 minutes, did a few missions, and I was like, meh.
Meh.
It's just not really the kind of thing that I could see myself really getting into, especially not in a crowded fall. It's cool that it's free to play. Like, it's cool that you can just download the game and play it and whatever. But, like, there's just too much coming out. I played it for, like, 10 minutes. And I'm like, well, I don't have space for this. And then I deleted it. That was pretty much how the cookie crumbled on that. I love Kirby, don't get me wrong. And it was fun. Like, I had a fine time playing it. But there's just no room for that game in this fall, as we've discussed. So, maybe one day when it's dead and we're just like really bored.
Maybe.
Game Freak's mysterious town is now called Little Town Hero, and it's coming on October 16th. The game looks like it's a kind of traditional JRPG, but it's got an interesting battle mechanic that involves using ideas in battle rather than standard attacks. So this looked kind of cool. I was surprised how quickly it's coming out, because like every time we've seen it, it looked so early, and it's like, oh, working title town. It felt like it was a ways away. But here it is coming out in like a month. It's always interesting when Game Freak makes like games that are not Pokemon. I've kind of like 100% enjoyed all of their non-Pokemon releases. They made this game called Harmonite back on 3DS that I loved, and they made a really fun kind of action platformer called Tembo the Badass Elephant. That was really good. So like they're kind of batting 1,000 with their kind of spin-off games. So I'm definitely interested, especially because Undertale's Toby Fox composed the music for the game. So I'm very into that. The game is available for pre-purchase now. It's going to be $24.99. So it's also pretty cheap. So shout out to them. Might be worth looking into for that price. You have any interest in Town? Little Town Hero as it is now?
Kind of. But I don't know. I just don't know if I'd like the gameplay.
Yeah, I'm that's the thing. I'm kind of hoping that I can like really get a sense of what the gameplay is like. A demo would be nice. I don't think they're going to release one, but it would be cool. I just want to see what the gameplay is like. So this was a huge surprise. A massive surprise announcement. Cult classic Deadly Premonition is getting a sequel. And by all accounts, based on all the research I've done, it looks like it will be a Switch exclusive. The sequel is called Deadly Premonition 2, A Blessing in Disguise. It's coming in 2020. But the first game was made available immediately following the Direct, and it's called Deadly Premonition Origins. Todd, I love Deadly Premonition. This game is so bad, but I love it. It's one of those things, man. It's got such a weird, like, cozy, strange Twin Peaks vibe to it. And the gameplay is, like, just really rough and not very polished. Like, make no mistake, the game is not good. But it is just charming as hell. And Deadly Premonition 2 looks to continue that tradition. I'm very excited. Dude, if you had given me like a list of games like that I thought was going to be unveiled during this Direct, that would have been pretty damn near the bottom. A sequel to Deadly Premonition. I mean, the game definitely has like cult status, but I did not think it was ever going to get a sequel. Much less a Switch exclusive sequel.
And then a re-release of like the first one. So it's like, what?
Yeah, the only thing that is interesting and kind of a bummer for me is that they re-released Deadly Premonition Origins and they're charging $30 for it.
Yeah,
that's a little fucking ridiculous, guys. Now, I love Deadly Premonition, but I'm not going to pay $30 for that game. That game is old, it's janky. What you should have done is you should have released that for like $15, maybe $20. And then like people I think would have bit. Cuz $30 is kind of like a big investment for people who don't know what it already is. You could have maybe gotten some new fans if you released it for cheap. I mean, $10, $15, $20, I think people would have bit.
I think 20 is decent for it.
20, I think 20 would have been a good sweet spot, but 30 is a little much. Like, even me as a fan of the game.
That's just $10 more, Seth.
Yeah, but, like, even as a fan of the game, I look at it and I'm like, $30, I don't even really want to double dip for $30. And I love the game. But I'm like, that's kind of steep, dude. Keep in mind, the game's not good. Like...
It's great.
Like, it's fun and it's charming and it has a lot of, like, really interesting things going for it. But as a person, if you've never played Deadly Premonition before, I can't say I recommend trying it for $30.
Nah. Here's the thing. I've never played it myself, but I've like watched like a playthrough of the game. And it's just like, not for 20.
The game...
Not 30. Honestly, I'd say 15. On a real
15 to 20 would have been a really nice sweet spot for this release. But,
Nah.
The game is just like weird. It's like kind of a third person like horror game, but not really. It's got some like detective stuff. There's like weird driving. It's actually kind of an open world game.
Yep.
The game is fucking weird, man. And like
talks to himself.
Oh yeah, well that obviously is lifted straight from Twin Peaks and like
yeah.
It's basically a giant Twin Peaks ripoff.
Mm-hmm.
But it goes like to weird supernatural places that even Twin Peaks doesn't go, and like there are points in the story where they just clearly don't give a fuck. and it's like weird and Japanese and funny.
And maybe it is that they give too much of a fuck.
It's oh my god, it's so fun. I love like some of the dialogue in the game, like some of the scenes, like FK in the coffee. Ah, it's so good. And he's always talking to himself. And Francis York Morgan's a great character.
It's a great name.
Oh, it is. And he's returning for the sequel
As an old man.
Like there's a weird scene in the first game where there's a character who goes to the diner and orders like a cereal sandwich. And Francis York Morgan's like, the sinner's sandwich. and the guy comes in and he says like, Mr. Blah 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 would like to order his lunch. If you would prepare it quickly, we'll thank you a bunch. Or some, just, you know what I mean? It has like just this weird like charm to it. I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I love it. And there's this stupid song, this like stupid whistle song that plays like all the time in the game called "Life is Beautiful." I fucking love it. It's the best. Anyway, another surprise, Todd. Another surprise announcement. The Jedi Knight games. So Star Wars Jedi Knight, Jedi Academy, and Jedi Knight 2 Jedi Outcast are coming to Switch. Jedi Knight 2 is what was shown during the Direct because it's actually releasing first on September 24th, while Jedi Academy is following sometime in 2020. And interestingly enough, so for Jedi Outcast, there's only going to be the single-player game, right? They're cutting the multiplayer from this.
So what, are you saying the multiplayer is going to be in the other ones?
But in Jedi Academy, it will have multiplayer support. Yes. Jedi Academy does not have a hard release date. We just know it's coming sometime in 2020. But yes, it will have multiplayer support. Now,
you realize I just like jizzed, right?
You don't realize how much time I spent playing Jedi Academy multiplayer.
I didn't spend as much time as you, but I played that shit.
Dude, my friend Ira and I, there was definitely a period of time where we fucking played that every day.
Seth, we will be playing that.
Oh, I'm definitely gonna play it. I suspect that it's not really gonna hold up that well.
I don't give a fuck.
But I'm definitely gonna be playing it. I had such a good time. You know, it's funny because that was actually the first and only time I've ever modded anything.
Mm-hmm.
This is really gonna be a time capsule for you. So this game came out. I think Jedi Academy came out in like 2002, like early 2000s, maybe like between 2002 and like 2004, I would say, is when that game came out. And like that was in the height of like my teenage angst. So this will be a fun treat for you folks at home. My first and only mod that I ever made was making a Cradle of Filth skin for my multiplayer avatar in Jedi Academy.
It's 2000. It's 2003.
2003, yeah. So that sounds about right. So that's what, 16 years ago. I mean, fuck. I was a baby. So I literally made the lead singer of Cradle of Filth a skin in that game and played with him with a purple lightsaber.
Bro, my god, dude. Jedi Outcast.
So it's worth noting, both of these games are coming to Switch, but they are also coming to PS4. So just so you guys know. A surprise to be sure, Todd, but a welcome one.
Fuck you.
Trials of Mana, the remake of Seiken Densetsu 3, was given an April 24th, 2020 release date, as well as a new trailer with a horrible English dub. You remember that, don't you?
Yeah, I do. It was real bad. Real bad.
A few upcoming first-party Nintendo titles were given status update kind of videos. So, a new mode for Luigi's Mansion 3 was revealed called Scream Park, which pits 2 to 8 players against ghost enemies in an arena-style combat scenario. So that looks interesting.
You call them what they're properly called.
What?
Gooigi's.
It's like Luigi's versus Gooigi's, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's basically like two teams, and basically like who can defeat the most ghosts, essentially. Looks cool. That's not what I'm coming to Luigi's Mansion 3 for. I can't wait for that game though. This is something I know you wanted to talk about. A new trailer for Pokemon Sword and Shield came out, showcasing the depth of the game's character customization as well as the Pokemon camp mechanic.
Yeah, it's so cool. So cool.
Yeah, Todd, you can engage in this incredibly deep system for creating curry rice recipes.
And I saw corgi ass. Now,
You can fill your curry decks.
if I don't fucking see the starters, I'm gonna flip my fucking shit.
Oh, you will. It's just they're gonna reveal the starters before the game comes out, but you're getting impatient.
It's all I get. It's all like get a shit in it.
Yeah. So the Pokemon camp, it's got this. It's kind of like taking the place of like they've had for a while now mechanics where you can kind of play with your Pokemon and like grow your bond with your Pokemon and shit, but this has the whole curry rice thing. Really weird how like deep they got. There's like over 100 curry rice recipes that you can
Spicy
discover.
curry, beef curry, pork curry.
Yeah.
Curry this, curry that, curry everywhere.
No, I'm not joking when I say that they literally have a curry dex that you can fill.
Mm-hmm.
New Pokemon were also revealed for the game. I won't get into all of them. I just wanted to highlight Poltegeist,
I love them.
who is adorable and lives in a broken teapot. Although it's a little bit weird because it's like trainers who get close to Poltegeist can have a sip of its tea, and I'm like, ugh, no.
Well, here's the deal. The way it is, his dick's coming out. His dick gonna be in that.
Let me just say something? Like, Pokemon Sword and Shield has taken like a weird stance with like the edible qualities of some of these Pokemon.
Shh. They have to be useful.
between this and like alchemy, where it's like alchemy is utilized by chefs because the happier alchemy is, its cream is sweeter or whatever. And I'm like, this is fucking weird. You guys have taken this into a weird place.
You're making it weird. Just accept.
I'm not
they're
making
animals.
it weird.
They're animals, damn it. They need to be useful, Seth.
No, it's odd. I don't want to.
You don't want to drink his tea?
Yeah, I don't want to drink his tea, and I don't want to eat alchemy's cream.
Too fucking bad.
Anyway, finally, we got a new trailer for Animal Crossing: New Horizons, which showcased a lot of information we already knew. Although we did get like some small quality of life changes that were revealed, like the ability to place furniture in half spaces is really cool. The ability to easily move and replant trees is really interesting because like previously in Animal Crossing you could replant your tree or whatever, but it was like so slow. Like it would take like 30 days for a tree to grow. Now you can really easily just dig up and replant trees however you want. That's great. And the ability to shape roads on your island as you see fit. You can actually round off the roads if you want to.
Yeah, I saw that.
Yeah, just these like small quality of life changes that are really going to give you a lot of customization options for your island. Cannot wait. I'm so ready for that game to consume my life. A surprise port of an underrated Wii U gem is coming to Switch. Tokyo Mirage Sessions Sharp FE Encore. It's a hell of a title. Is releasing on January 17th, 2020. So, this was a weird, like, Shin Megami Tensei Fire Emblem mashup game that I never played, but I heard was really good. And obviously, it didn't really get much of an audience because the Wii U didn't get much of an audience. So, it's kind of nice that it's getting a second chance of life on Switch. This version is going to include new story elements, characters, and songs. So we are kind of slowly getting literally every noteworthy Wii U game onto the system. Again, every time a new Wii U port is revealed, I just want my Zelda games. That's all I want. That game again. I gotta say this title one more time because it's so stupid. Tokyo Mirage Sessions Sharp FE Encore.
I mean, that's been a common thing. They got like Dragon Quest XI's done it like
Dragon Quest XI S Definitive Edition Echoes of Elusive Age.
It's like shit. What a fucking name.
Yeah, you gotta respect it almost.
I do.
So anyway, this was leaked some time ago, but is now official. Super Nintendo games are now available for Nintendo Switch Online members. Oh man, this makes me so goddamn happy, Todd.
And you can buy a controller for $30.
Oh yes, oh yes. So, 20 SNES games are available at launch, with more coming sometime in the future. I'm not going to get into all 20 games, but some of the noteworthy ones are like A Link to the Past, Yoshi's Island, Super Mario World, Super Metroid, Super Mario Kart, and interestingly, Stunt Race FX, which is a game that has never been re-released until now. And then, yeah, like you just said, Todd, additionally, Nintendo Switch Online members have the option of purchasing a wireless SNES controller for $29.99. By the way, I will 100% be buying one of those.
Mm-hmm.
Wireless Super Nintendo controller? Hell yes. And I was kind of like messing around with A Link to the Past today. It is so nice to have that game in the palm of my hands. Oh my god. And like, also, just like, Super Nintendo, like, don't get me wrong, it was cool that the NES games had support or whatever. Like, that was cool. That was fine to kind of, like, mess around with. But, like, NES was really, like, a primitive system in that a lot of the games for NES are kind of more arcadey experiences. Like, you know, video games obviously kind of started in the arcade scene. So the NES was kind of like, hey, like, let's bring arcade games to your home. So when we get to Super Nintendo, now you're getting, like, real games. You know what I mean? Like, you can now, on your Switch, ostensibly for free, you can play fully A Link to the Past. That's a full fucking game. You know what I mean? Like, you know, Yoshi's Island, like, these are big, meaty, really good games that you can actually play now for free. Like, I'm probably going to do a full replay of Link to the Past on my Switch. You know what I mean?
You sicken me. You fucking sicken me. Disgusting.
Let's finally dig into this, Todd. In a moment of pure birthday-fueled ecstasy and nirvana.
It's like, you know, Nintendo at this point basically gave you a prostate exam.
I feel like my faith all these years has just been so rewarded with this whole situation. Because Nintendo did indeed shadow drop the Banjo-Kazooie Fighter Pack onto Super Smash Bros. Ultimate on my birthday. Literally on my birthday. So, thank you, Nintendo gods. My prayers have not gone on deaf ears.
Mm-hmm. And he's fucking fun.
And he's a lot of fun. I've already spent a lot of time with him. Like, it's just... I can't help but smile when I play with him. Just his moveset is perfect. Like, the Spiral Mountain stage is really fun and interesting. I had a good time working through his spirit board. The music, the compositions are so good. Like, all the remixes are excellent. I could not be happier with the Banjo pack. Like, as a diehard Banjo-Kazooie fan, I'm very, very happy with that. By the way, as a quick little aside, so got my Xbox set up today, and downloaded Banjo-Kazooie onto it, and my wife, I actually handed her the controller, and she played Banjo for the first time today. She had never played it before.
Really?
Yeah, so she actually played it for the first time, and she was kind of shit-talking a little bit, but I suspect that she was saying, like, she was shit-talking just to kind of, like, see how I'd react to her shit-talking.
Get a fucking rise out of you?
Yeah, just to get, like, a rise out of me, I think, a little bit. Because she sat there and she, like, talked shit, but I kid you not, she 100%ed Mumbo's Mountain.
Mm-hmm.
She played for a solid, like, hour plus. And she got to Treasure Trove Cove before she finally turned the game off. So, she was talking shit, but I was like, but you're having fun, and you know it. You're getting into it, because you don't just 100% a stage if you don't enjoy it a little bit.
Yep.
So, that was kind of nice. And it was weird. It was a weird experience, because, yeah, you said this before when you played on your Xbox One, and it just had, like, your old save on there. Same thing.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Like, it did this whole thing. It's like syncing with your Xbox 360 profile, and I just
bothered the shit out of me. I was like, what the fuck?
It was so weird. I had no idea that was possible. So now I kind of want to like, is my old, like, Mass Effect saves, like, is that still out there in the ether?
They're definitely gonna be there, dude.
Man, really cool. So in addition to that, it was revealed that Fatal Fury / King of Fighters Terry Bogard was revealed as DLC fighter number 4. We already kind of knew about it. There was an unfortunate leak a few days before the direct, but we kind of knew about it going in that it was going to be Terry. But he's coming in November. We don't know who DLC fighter number 5 is, of course, but it was revealed that beyond this fighter pass, more DLC characters will be coming to the game, which is crazy. I mean, the game's roster is already so massive, and like even beyond these 5 DLC fighters, we're getting more. I mean, that's insanity. I think Sakurai even said in the direct, he was just kind of like, might as well. Like, that was kind of his approach to it. He's like, hey, I've already got like I've already created the ultimate like fighting game. Might as well see how far we can push it. So we ended the direct, Todd, with a one more thing kind of announcement. And it was revealed that the original Xenoblade Chronicles is being remade for the Switch in 2020. We didn't get to see much. It was kind of a simple trailer, but upon further inspection, a lot of people kind of cried foul about this. But when you look at it, it does seem like this is more than just a simple port job. The game is actually vastly improved.
So it's like an actual remaster?
Yeah, like vastly improved from a graphical perspective. Like if you actually look side by side, it's crazy. Like this looks like it's going to be more in line with like a remake versus a simple re-release. Even though they are calling it Xenoblade Chronicles Definitive Edition, I don't know if they're doing a lot of work to like the world, but like the character models for sure are like night and day. I mean, it's absurd how much work has been done to the character models. So, really interesting, especially like I didn't get to play too much of the original Xenoblade Chronicles. Like, it kind of slipped through the cracks for me. So, and I loved, obviously, Xenoblade Chronicles 2. I spent like 100 hours of that game. So, I definitely am interested in looking back at this, especially since this is kind of a full remake for Switch.
Oh, wow. Yeah, I'm looking at this shit.
I mean, dude, like the difference is enormous. So they're clearly putting a lot of work into this remaster or remake or whatever the hell it is. And I think people were even saying that there were things in the trailer that were like not from the original game. So they actually might be adding new content to the game as well. So I'm sure we're going to hear more about this as 2020 draws nearer.
Did they not say that? I feel like they said that, though.
They may have. I don't know.
I feel like they straight said that in the fucking thing. Like,
that there's going to be new content.
Shit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, they might have. Maybe I missed that. But dead ass, like, this seems like this is kind of more in line with like a straight, almost like a Shadow of the Colossus style remake than it is just a simple remaster. So, how cool. Is this something you feel like you could dig into this?
Man, did I dig into Xenoblade Chronicles 2?
No, I wouldn't say you dug into it. I would say you dipped your toe into it.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Which was disappointing to me because I wanted you to play more of that game. That game's amazing, dude.
In a different life. In a different life, in a different time. I've played that game. I have 100% of it.
No, I doubt that.
Not this life. Not this time.
You know what's funny is like that's one of those games that I'm actually really grateful that the first half of this year was so dead. Because like Xenoblade Chronicles 2 and like Assassin's Creed Odyssey, I put 100 plus hours into both of those games. And like I would not have been able to do that if the year was busy. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So anyway, that's all I got, Todd, for the news this week. That was one hell of a direct, I'll say that.
Definitely was.
I mean, again, I just felt like I was being serviced for my birthday.
Again, prostate. They gave you a prostate exam.
Yeah, I just jizzed everywhere uncontrollably.
Mm-hmm.
Had heart palpitations. It was bad. It was real bad. I really honestly did not. I authentically did not expect Banjo to be shadow dropped on the day.
I actually kind of had a feeling.
Did you?
A little bit.
Felt it in your balls?
I did.
By the way, I did. So my birthday was good. I got 5 Guys, so all was right in the world.
Yeah?
Yeah.
What'd you get on that 5 Guys?
Mayonnaise, ketchup, bacon, extra cheese. pickles, sauteed onions.
Yeah.
It was one of those things where like I ate it and I was like, I miss it.
That's some real shit.
Like as soon as I ate
like
it,
this. Another.
Yeah. If it was not so calorically insane, I definitely would have had two. I could have put away two.
Stop acting like you give a shit.
I give a shit when, dude. If you look at the Five Guys, bro. No. You look at the Five Guys menu board, and when their base burger is like over 1,000 calories, bruh.
My calorie deficit's like 2,000.
It doesn't matter. By the time you're loading it up with toppings and you're eating your fries, you're fuck your calorie deficit. You're basically getting your entire day's worth of calories with one meal at Five Guys.
Delicious.
But it's oh so good. And they hand you the fucking, first of all, like it doesn't even come in like, I love that it doesn't come in like a branded bag. It's just like a fucking brown grocery bag.
Damn straight. That's what. Hey, let me tell you right now. That's when you know you got good fucking food.
Yeah, because they don't care. I love it. And it's just like sopping with fucking grease. Like the bottom of it is just like clear.
The telltale signs of good motherfucking food.
And then like you reach your fucking gross hand into the bag and you pull out like the aluminum foil. First of all, you have to like excavate through all the fries. Because they do the whole thing where they take a cup and they put a scoop of fries in the cup and then they just put another scoop in the bag because fuck you. So good. I love Five Guys so much.
I bet you do.
Anyway, that's a tangent, Todd. You got anything else you want to add before we wrap it up?
I think that's about it, sir.
Thanks for listening, folks. We'll catch you next time. Get fucking dunked on. Bye.
See ya.
Hey there, thanks for checking out another fantastic Nerd Bourbon video. If you like what you saw and you want to see more, be sure to go ahead and subscribe, leave us a like, drop us a nice comment, or I guess a mean one if that's your prerogative. But until next time, get dunked on.